Call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Wahara Kakwadash. Shalom to my elder Sharayad. Shalom to all the hopeful elect elders of the Israelite nation who rule well. Also, namely, the hopeful elect elder apostles over at the Great Millstone Church. Peace and many blessings be to the hopeful elect men of the Israelite nation, hitting the highways and hedges, diligently bringing forth the true doctrine of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, namely the brothers that I personally labor with. Peace and many blessings be as well to the rest of the 1/3, all you true believers out there of the Israelite nation. Shalom to you all. We're going to be reading here in the book of 2 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, verse 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. And simply put, it's saying that there's no opposition to the truth. And it's one of those scriptures that can be going in from many different facets. But what inspired this lesson was tonight's sit-down lesson/class, which was based upon, which will go to the book of Matthew, the 11th chapter, in the 6th verse. And off top, yes, these are red letters, implying Yahushua is speaking, Yahushua being who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. It reads, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. So the man who's not offended in this word, because Yahushua is the word, is blessed. And those who are offended are on the other side of the spectrum. So when you read this, it's written to show there will be those opposed to the word, thus offended. And the beauty of this is that regardless what is being played out here on earth, regardless how we feel or how we react to the situations that are brought upon us, it's all in line with this word. When we hop back to 2 Corinthians 13:8, it says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. And we come back here to Matthew chapter 11:6, and blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me, thus implying that there will be those who are offended in the Lord, thus offended in the word. And the word is implying this whole book, which is called the Bible, which is implying the doctrine of the Bible, the understanding of it and what it's truly saying, which we understand that this Bible isn't for everybody. Understanding this doctrine isn't for everybody. It's only for the elect. The elect of the Israelite nation are the only ones who are going to be able to hear this word, receive it, and go forth to perform it, meaning go forth and do so, do accordingly to this book, live according to this book. All right. So point being is there are those who will be offended, and then we have the portion that will receive this truth and fare well with it. So back to 2 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, for we can do nothing against the truth. So simply put, even those who are in opposition to this truth, those who are offended in the word, they're simply playing a part in the overall doctrine. They're playing a part in this book. And when you look at the beauty of that, you start understanding that these scriptures are just simply playing out right in front of us at all times. Whenever you see a scoffer, someone who opposes the word, that's actually playing a part of this book being fulfilled. When you tell your brothers, your sisters, your moms, your pops, whoever it is you might tell his word, and they reject it, well, they're all just playing a part of this book being fulfilled. So once again, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So rather we label it good or bad, right or wrong, Again, talking about people's actions, how they react to this word, or even if they're not reacting to this word, even if they're just in the world and they're oblivious to this book and this understanding, it's all playing its part out, which is the truth. And we can't oppose the truth. It all must be for it. We go come here to the book of Isaiah, the 45th chapter, and the 7th verse. It says, I form the light and create darkness. And that's that balance that is of the Lord. Not only does he form light, he creates the darkness. It says, I make peace and create evil. It reads, I, the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the Most High in the name of his Son, do all these things. So the Lord, he created the elect. And he also created the scoffers. He created the 2/3. He created the heathen nations. He created Esau. It's all part of the Lord's movie playing out down here, if you will. You know, which is going to bring us to our next scripture, the book of Psalms, chapter 90. Salakia, chapter 90 and verse 9. And this reads, for all our days are passed away in thy wrath, the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Our days are already planned out, and we're ultimately just living in whatever role, if you will, because it's a movie that you are assigned to play. That's what you play out. Someone has to play the role of the villain. Someone has to play the role of the hero. Someone has to play the role of the bystander. Someone has to play the role of even a director, you know, and that's the Most High. It's all being orchestrated beyond our minds could actually perceive. But this is what we seeing playing out here. Again, we can't do nothing against the truth but for the truth. Even those who are offended in this word, who is ultimately, if you will, not for, they're playing their role and playing these scriptures out, because this book must be fulfilled. So I'm going to read this again, Psalms 90 and 9. For all our days are passed away in thy wrath. It says, we spend our years as a tale that is told. And that's this doctrine playing out, regardless what side you are playing out. Again, if you're on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, if you're the elect of the Israelite nation, or if you're the 1/3 of the Israelite nation, or you're a heathen, or you Esau, you know, which are, you know, major roles. This is not going to be too long. I got a few more scriptures I'm going to close out. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 31. It reads, what shall we say then to these things? It says, if God be for us, who can be against us? And that's like the major point that I want to bring forth in this lesson, because ultimately I'm speaking to the elect. And we are those who are actually dealing with these scriptures. We're the ones who forsook the world for the Lord's sake. And ultimately we was called because we didn't choose the Lord. The Lord chose us, and we're just fulfilling our part, our role in this movie, if you will. We're playing our part in that tale that's being told, and ultimately as of now, we're the hopeful elect, you know, and Lord willing, we're going to be of that number, the elect of the Israelite nation who are to go on to receive that salvation and receive the kingdom. First and foremost, get on those chariots, you know, be delivered out of the nuclear destruction that's coming here to America, and ultimately the destruction that's coming to the earth. You see, Romans 8 and 31, what shall we say then to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? So when we're looking around, we're seeing people offended in his word. There's no point, of even of being angry at that, because ultimately all we see is just the Lord's works in perfect harmony orchestrating in front of us, regardless if we see it that way. Because sometimes, situations come at us and they not what we perceive as pleasant, but all in all, the Lord, his will is what plays out here on the earth. So if God be for us, if we are of that elect number, if we're deemed the righteous, if we're deemed to be part of the Lord's elect, it says, who can be against us? And the answer is no one. So we'll close out back here in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 13 and verse 8. And it says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Which in reality is, there's no true opposition to the truth. All that we see playing out in front of us is meant to be. We just have to endure, stay steadfast in the faith, and not fall out. If it be of our role to do so, that's what it's going to be. So, Lord willing, this is edifying, admonishing, and exhorting. Shalom.